Kruise, first of all, been a big week. How are you feeling?
Yeah, had a bit of a celebration over the weekend, and spent some time with my family, and yeah, it's been great. It's been different. I've never done it before. I've never experienced a final before, and it's just about starting to set in now what happened and what we did, like how special it was.
And it's been an incredible journey for you. Obviously, you were born in Eswantini and came over to England, and then to win a Challenge Cup. Can you believe where your journey's taken you?
Yeah, it's mad. I come over and I couldn't speak a word of English, and now I can't speak a word of Swazi. I used to go back every year and visit my family and stuff like that, but with rugby and full-time contract, you need to be going back for maybe 3 or 4 weeks, and we just don't get that type of time off. So yeah, it's been amazing. I've had messages from back home saying a couple of people watched it back there, and so yeah, mind-blowing really. And to go back and see a couple of rugby balls being thrown about would be nice.
And for Rhinos fans who don't know too much about Eswatini, what was it like growing up there, the years there, and when you've gone back afterwards?
Yeah, well, Eswatini as a country itself, it's a landlocked monarchy on its own at the bottom of South Africa. It would be described as a third world country. It's not as bad as the media seems to portray it as, and it is poverty stricken and stuff, but it's not as bad as like you see on TV and stuff like that. But yeah, I loved growing up there. I had some very fond memories, and it's a massive part of my personality and who I am today. The way my mum brought me up, that she lived there all her life, and her mum and dad were from that country. So it's been a massive influence on the way she's brought her children up, and respectful, and we like to not take anything for granted. And yeah, I think it's a massive part of who I am today. And as a country, it's very very welcoming. To be honest, when we went to PNG with the England Knights, I got there and it felt very similar. Very welcoming. Really into the sports. It's more football back there, but obviously PNG is more rugby, but really into the sports. And it took me back a little bit going back to PNG. So if you've ever been there, if you've ever seen that, it's very similar.
And you say people from back home have heard about the Challenge Cup win and everything else. You get plenty of attention from back there.
Yeah, it's become a big thing, hasn't it? Coming into this Challenge Cup, it's all that's been really spoke about. They've the media have picked it up and ran with it really, and they like to mention it a lot. And to get a couple of messages on Instagram from my cousins and people back there, it's been great. It's been great, and like I say, I feel like I'll have done a bit of a job if I go back there in years to come, because I do want to take my fiancée back there, to show her where I grew up, and I think it's important that she knows, when we hopefully have kids, the way I'll bring them up and stuff. I want us to know what it's like, but to go back there and to see a couple of rugby balls being thrown around and people getting into rugby, I'll feel very privileged and honoured to be able to say I had an hand in doing such a thing.
And in the build-up to last Saturday's game, in the team meetings, Richard Agar talks about everyone having their own special reason, unique to them, why they wanted to lift that Challenge Cup. And it sounds from exactly what you're saying there that was a big motivator, that you were representing your heritage.
Yeah, it's a big motivator on that front, and obviously just to make my family proud as well. It's hard to describe to someone that doesn't really know rugby league. Even my mum, she's seen me grow up, loving the sport and playing it, but for her to come and watch me, it's still like she's watching me down play Siddle. You know what I mean? She doesn't make it such a big thing, but to see her son on BBC, such a big channel, and for it to come up on BBC News, everyone knows you've done something really special, and then to bring home a medal to show her, and the celebrations that went around it. It starts to set into people what we've done is such a big thing, and especially to my mum, that just, like I say, still thinks I'm playing amateur, and she just loves watching me play. She was taken back by it, and when I got back home and I spoke to her, she was so proud, like the most. She related to see me, and she had tears in her eyes, and I've never seen my mum like that. Especially through me playing rugby. It's just a sport to her, and so yeah, it were humbling, very humbling.
And talking of heritage there and inspiring others, this round of Super League, round 17, is the Black History round, and talking about previous players who've set a legacy for those that follow. How important is it, you think, for particularly young black players to have players that they can look up to and aspire to be like?
Yeah, I just think there's been a lot of talks about what's going on, and we take a knee before every game, and it's important to celebrate, you know, being black and stuff. And I just think for a young kid coming through now, it's a lot easier than what it was. But I think it's just good for them to be able to see a black person portrayed in such a good light, and to stand up and say, I want to be like that person. And I think that's a powerful message to give to young people anyway. You know, I think I know for a fact when I was growing up, and my role models were, you know, I looked at Nelson Mandela, at what he did, and obviously coming from that part of the country, you always get to see, it's always tossed upon you what he did do, and you learn about him a lot more. And then I come over to England, and not a lot of my friends didn't know who he were and stuff like that. So I think when people are doing such good things like that, they should be portrayed in a good light, and they should be, you know, like anybody else would be. And I think for a young person coming through, you want to be seeing them people and thinking, I can be like that. He looks like me. He's got the same skin colour as me. I can be like that.